to assess this thinking that those two are the same.
Yeah.
You can't just assess it like that. So again, just be understanding.
That's it.
And yeah, just communicate with your builder. And most of all, be nice about it.
Hello and welcome back to the podcast. I forgot what I usually say.
The podcast.
Hello and welcome back to Nailed It, the number
To the
one.
number
Oh, there we go.
one.
I got it. Ready? 3, 2.
Put some enthusiasm, bro.
Hello and welcome back to the number one home building podcast in Australia. This week we are talking about the trade and product shortage amidst the home builder grant. I'm just gonna fucking ignore that and just say what I want. Jesus, it felt so weird. I don't usually say amid.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, all right, here we go. 3. Hello and welcome back to the number one home building podcast in Australia. Today we really wanted to discuss more about the trade and the product shortages and delays that we are currently experiencing throughout the entire building industry. But before we get into that, let's start off introducing ourselves. So do you want to kick us off?
Chris Baptista, Director of Homes by CMA, one of the best and largest builders in Queensland.
That's it. And Jaden Peters, I am the Marketing Manager for CMA. So I'm not 100% sure where exactly we want to start with this. A lot of you may have experienced or heard from your home builder that there has been some increase in delays and shortage in trades when regards to, trying to finish your home for 2021.
Even started.
Yeah.
Now, the main thing is, I guess, we are going to talk in general terms, not just Homes by CMA. The shortage is affecting each and every builder a little bit differently. So obviously it is a case by case thing. And like we saw, we've got a little bit of sort of documentation here, and the smaller the builder, the harder it gets because the less power they have on those suppliers and trades.
That's it.
So yeah, but that's just a general thing, just as to, I guess, what can you expect in 2021 when building a house?
That's it. So there's been a few things that have really contributed to this sort of, this increase in delays, I guess, and this trade shortage. So one of the first things, obviously, is the home builder grant. So the federal government's home builder grant that they released, where you get the $25,000 in Queensland, or I think throughout, there was over 93,000 applicants for that. So that's already a massive increase in volume for the building industry.
Definitely.
Yeah, obviously, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, yes, it is definitely the biggest factor. If you can picture that in terms of sales, most builders have either doubled or tripled their sales.
Yeah.
Most decent home builders, I guess.
Yeah, that's it.
And that just means that even if we just take this just on its own, there's already a shortage of trades, and suppliers have been pretty good, but it's mainly the trades.
Yeah.
So if you can imagine that there's already a shortage and you throw in double or triple the amount of work, something's not going to add up.
And I really feel for it, because a lot of those small builders, their trades are literally refusing to do their work because they'd rather go to the project builder who's going to guarantee them a lot more work. And obviously, we're quite lucky on that front.
It's a good point, and there was a prime example in this document. That's from Master Builders, and it was basically saying that a lot of the suppliers, first of all, wouldn't even quote small builders, and it's really bad because there's so many really, really good small builders.
For sure.
But they won't even quote it, and if they quote it, they're really going to overprice it really badly, which puts them in a really bad spot because obviously, they're already a small builder, so there's not a lot of sales. So if you already have much higher prices,
that's right,
it's going to be super hard for them, and which is why it leads on to that comment that says many builders may not make it through the next 12 months, and also the impact is being felt first by small builders.
For sure.
So again, which is bad because there's so many really, really good small builders, and they don't necessarily deserve that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there's just nothing else to do because the trade shortage is so bad.
It sucks. And we're already seeing small builders starting to go under and go into liquidation because of things like this.
And that's not even small. I guess if we think about it, and a lot of people might have heard of it because it's been in a Courier Mail and all that, but Plain Build Home has gone into liquidation.
That's it.
I think 40 homes left unfinished, and obviously a lot of clients that have signed a contract, have applied for the Home Builders Grant. Where do they go from there? I don't know, but there's probably going to be a few during the year. And again, it's very sad, no matter how you look at it. But unfortunately, that's just it's going to be a tough 12-month. Not just, and that's the important thing, not just in terms of clients, which obviously things are going to take longer to build.
Correct. Yeah.
But also in terms of from a builder's point of view.
That's right. Yeah.
It's important to think about both parties in there. Yes, from a client's point of view, things will take longer, and we understand there's rent and there's all those things that you have to pay. But at the same time, most of them also had 40K in grants.
That's right.
Which is pretty cool.
Yep, 100%.
But from a builder's point of view, we face with trade shortage, supply shortage, and price increases. Again, we've seen that in the same Master Builders document, which said that a lot of their respondents, because they've done a survey, are struggling with price increases of more than 15% for timber and steel products.
That's insane.
And that's a problem across the board.
Yeah.
So, and that's not just saying that, obviously, we're lucky we use steel frames, but timber frames are even harder.
Yeah.
And particularly when it comes to the structural timber.
Yeah.
So,
because of that, builders are now faced with two options. They either incur that cost over to you, or as a business, they then absorb that cost as a business. So obviously we're absorbing that cost as a business, so our customers don't have to fork that extra money out. But I don't know where I was going with that.
No, well, it means that a house, again, looking from the builder's point of view, a house will cost, on average, depending on the size, obviously anywhere between $5,000 to really $20,000 to build. Because you just have to pay those extra fees in terms of labor, in terms of materials, because otherwise you will just simply not get that product. You have to think about it, for example, in terms of roofing. So we've talked about the Home Builders Grant, and that has affected everything really bad. Obviously in a good way, because there was the whole purpose was to create work, and it definitely has created a lot of work.
For sure.
More than most people can handle.
Yeah.
But there's also the side of things where, for example, the roofers and all the storms we had in the Ipswich area.
That's it. So all the hailstorms that we've recently had, all the storms up north as well. We're now getting this massive influx of insurance jobs that have come through. And in regards to your roof now, you now have no trades, because on their end, it's a smart move to go in and take the insurance job that's paying, a lot higher rate compared to what they normally would.
And Paul Bidwell from the Master Builders sort of Association had a really good saying, I guess, and he's called it the perfect storm. And what he means is, from COVID, because obviously that has impacted the supplies from China and all those countries, all the imports, to then the Home Builders Grant, to then all the storm, and that's just created a perfect storm in terms of making it harder to build a house. And
throughout the entire building industry too, not just like, this is everyone.
Definitely.
Throughout the entire, all of Australia. It's been tough, hey?
Yeah, no, that's it. And again, another, like he has got some really good points, I guess. And one of them was you cannot get a roofing contractor for love nor money. Because it's that hard to get a roofer, and we are lucky, and obviously a lot of builders would be in the same spot where we have been working with those roofing contractors for years.
That's it.
And we've got really good relationships. But if it wasn't for that, you just cannot get a roofer. You just cannot find one.
100%.
So yeah, it's been hard, I guess. And that's an important thing to sort of mention. Probably the key things that have been impacted so far anyway, because that's the thing, we could not, I guess it's hard from a client's point of view to see this, but most of those contracts were signed back at the end of last year.
That's right, yeah.
There was no chance for anyone to just even think of the consequences that it would have, because first of all, you can't see how many sales the other builders are doing, and
That's right.
I guess the surveys and everything don't get released until a few months after.
That's right. Yeah.
So I guess it's just so hard to just plan all this. You can plan to a certain extent, but not to what it is now, I guess.
Yeah.
And
All right. So we've covered that. Obviously, the trade shortage due to all the obviously increase in volume.
And that's what I was going to. I completely lost my thoughts in there, but I was going to, I guess from a client's point of view, you want to know, okay, what are the trades that are going to be impacted by this? And again, it's very specific to each and every builder. A lot of them might have all the trades impacted because those tradies are going to find where, is best paid, I guess.
That's it. Yeah.
But mostly, and I guess that's from our point of view, and I guess that'd be the same problem with most project builders. It's mainly getting the slabs, so the concrete slabs, obviously, getting the frames, whether it's a timber frame or a steel frame, it's a little bit harder, and the roofing.
Yes.
Those are the main three things that have definitely been harder to get. And in terms of how much delay this is causing, I would probably have it in terms of weeks.
Yeah.
I would say when, for example, you normally have, slab, frame, and roof, and that'd be pretty quick, I would add easily another 4 weeks on top of that.
Yeah.
And there was another really great part of that article, which I don't know where it is, but it was somewhere here. Here we go. And it was, so that's from another builder. That's basically said that we're getting a slab down, but the concrete slab is just sitting there for a number of weeks, sometimes months, before we can even get frames to site and get the carpenters to build it. So obviously month is a little bit too far-fetched.
Yeah.
But again, it just depends what size you are in terms of how many homes and everything and what sort of power you have. But weeks is a definite. And how many frames we've been on site a lot. Not just us, but how many frames? We just did a handover today.
Yes.
And on that street, there was an actual steel frame, not from us, but from another builder. That handover we did, the frame was completed. It was easily 4 weeks plus.
Yeah.
And the roof is not off.
Now.
Yeah, the fascia was just installed. Yep. And that was I'm not going to name the builder, but I reckon they do about 250 homes a year. So a decent sized builder. Yeah.
So, and this is not just us. We're just trying to tell you the information and be as transparent as we can. And so you guys know what's happening within the industry.
Well, that's it, because I feel no builder speaks about it.
That's right.
Because it's sort of, you don't want to speak about it. Yeah, it's a bit of a taboo. You don't want to speak about it. You don't want to cause issues, but really we have to speak about it. It's the same with every other builder. And again, another builder had a really prime example. It's the same as a toilet paper during the virus. You might go to Woolworths, you might go to Coles. No matter where you go, there's going to be a shortage. And as much as the manufacturers are going to try to work very hard to get that toilet paper to those stores, there's still going to be a shortage, and it's going to take a bit of time for that to come back to sort of normal. So I guess that's why it's important from a client's point of view to be patient, because it's like, think about it during the virus and those people that were abusing the workers at Coles. Or like, where's my toilet paper? Well, it's not their fault.
Yeah,
they're doing the best they can.
Exactly.
And it's not in their best interest not to sell you the toilet paper.
Of course, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
we want your job to finish as quickly as possible as well. We want you to be in your new home.
And every single builder would say the same. There's no point. We don't get paid until we get those stages completed.
That's it.
There's no point in us having a slab and then a frame and then having a massive gap, because we don't get paid.
That's it.
All the overheads are still there. All the expenses are still there. The display homes are still there. Everything is still there, but you don't get paid. So from a builder's point of view, we want to get in and get out as fast as possible, obviously.
That's it. So this is us just telling you the information, but feel free, go online, Google this yourself, find all the articles. There is loads out there from credible sources like the Master Builders, ABC, so forth. But let's talk about, in terms, if you are a client, what can clients do during this time?
So no matter which builder you have, you will have the same issue, I guess. So the first thing I would say is just to really understand it. So obviously, again, do a little bit of research, listen to that podcast. Know, I guess, the issues, so that you are not just talking to your builder and not even understanding what the issues are.
That's it. Yeah.
Because you might not see a roof on, and you might think, oh well, why is my roof not on? But it's not as easy as it sounds. So just understand, I guess, what we are in at the moment.
I'm trying to understand the larger scope of everything.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And yeah, you really got to understand that, there's only so much labor and so many suppliers and all this, and there's just too much work. There's just simply way too much work. So from that point, you really have to be a little bit more patient. Again, I know it's annoying. I'm certainly not a patient type of guy.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to be. And it's all about asking, just be patient, ask for the dates.
Yeah.
You just have to follow it up.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit of a tricky one, because another thing is some builders might not be able to tell you, for example, the exact frame date.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is they're most likely working super hard to try to bring that date forward. So we might have a rough date, but we're trying super hard to bring that date forward. So, but being patient is important. I know it's hard, but always think about the bigger picture. Most people did get or are going to get $40,000 in grants, which is massive.
That's it.
And
so because of that, we're obviously doing our best then to try and communicate and update you as best as we can, as far as we know, when things are getting done and getting built and things like that.
And that's what's hard too, because I guess a lot of builders, normally what happens in a normal job, we get our purchase orders done, we send it to the suppliers, we set the delivery date.
That's right, yeah.
It's done.
It's no drama.
Nice and easy.
Yeah.
In the current environment, what happens is we send the purchase orders,
And
they come back with a price increase saying you can only get a roof if you pay another $2,000. That's the first thing. So you sort of agree on that, because you got to get a roof on and you got to get a frame. And then they tell you when can they get a roof on and when can they get a frame. It's not vice versa. And the problem is sometimes they don't even know when they can get that out, because again, you got to think, as those suppliers got so much work, particularly when it comes to roofing and framing, that it is just really, really hard. So they're doing the best they can. And it'd be like us, if we were to get angry or get frustrated at them, we know they're doing the best they can.
That's right. Yeah.
We know that when they can't come back to us with a date within a few days, we understand they're working on it.
Yeah.
We understand they're doing the best they can to try to shuffle the hundreds of jobs they have to make everything work out.
Some of them they've got like 24-hour shifts running. Like they're going as hard as they can to ensure
so
that they
many
can get back
suppliers have increased to 24-hour shift.
Yeah.
It's that
They
bad.
got to. They got to.
Yeah, they got you.
So, like you said, we're going to communicate with them, and obviously you're going to communicate with us. So we'll do our best then to sort of keep you updated. But we think it's also important that you do have a bit of a contingency plan just in case if things go south.
The main thing is
in terms of time.
Yeah, that's it. If you know your PCI, which is your practical completion, is on the 10th of November, don't end your lease on the 10th of November. Like, you have to have a bit of time frame there.
Have a bit of leeway. Yeah.
And I understand it's hard too, because the rental market at the moment is crazy.
Yeah. And we get that it's expensive.
You can't rent a house, that's it. It's hard, it's expensive, but you have to have a bit of a buffer. And again, communicate to your builder regularly.
That's it.
And see if you can get a little bit more of a date. Once the slab, the frame, and the roofs are pretty much sorted, everything else will be pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's just about communicating. And don't just cut off your rent at that point.
That's it.
Have a little bit of a time frame.
Bit of time.
And again, keeping in mind that practical completion to handover is usually about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And again, you also have to keep in mind that the banks have been slower.
Yes.
We've had a few jobs where the bank can't even get a valuation done for like 3 weeks, and the house is just sitting there.
Yeah.
So it's not, you have to think it's not just the builders, it's the bank, it's council, it's everyone.
It's a ripple effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that pretty much hit it on the head. Is there anything else you wanted to include before we do this?
No, I guess that's pretty much it. I guess, it's just, I think, something people need to know. How long is this going to last? Again, Paul from Master Builders said it, and I agree with what he's saying. 12 months, I really do believe is how long this is going to last.
Yeah.
I don't believe it's going to extend past this, because once most of those jobs get to completion stage will be all good.
Yeah.
But 12 months is easily, I guess, a time frame where home building will be a little bit longer.
Yes.
Not saying it's going to take another 6 months to build a house, but yes, anything from approvals to construction will take a little bit longer. So again, just be patient.
That's it.
Just be understanding. Try to communicate with your builder. Most builders are going to be very busy.
Yes.
And the thing is, they're going to get completely bombarded by sort of inquiries as to when is my house getting started, when is my house finished. So you got to understand that they also have, say, they might have 200-300 jobs on the go. Each of those clients might ask questions, so that's hundreds and hundreds of inquiries.
On top of that, new sales coming in.
On top of that, new sales, and obviously most of the builders are not even pushing in new sales because it's just a matter of, let's just making sure we can take care of all the clients we have and just make sure this is taken care of. But even the new sales, I guess, are not going to convert into jobs for a few months anyway. So it's just the main thing is going to be the next 12 months.
Yeah.
After that, home building should get back to normal unless there's another virus, unless there's a home builder's grant.
Fingers crossed. Toes
But
crossed.
I think it will get back to normal. And I think, I'm hoping anyway, unless there's another storm. Fingers crossed it's not another storm and then we can't get roofers at all.
That's it. Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. We are going to do more videos, like we said, on things like variations.
Yes.
Because, for your project to go as smooth as possible, you really have to stop your changes. Again, think about it from a builder's point of view, think about it from your point of view, and try to really plan everything so that there's no changes during your build. And then communicate, be patient, and everything should run pretty smooth, or at least as smooth as it can be.
Yeah, that's it. And make it a bit easier to hit a home run, I suppose.
That's exactly right.
Awesome. Well, we'll get out of your hair. Thank you so much for tuning in to this absolutely, I feel, necessary podcast that we need
Necessary
to do.
podcast about the home building industry at the moment and the delays that it's experiencing.
That's it. We hope that clears everything up and clarifies everything a little bit more.
And if you have any question, just post it in the comments. I think we've covered pretty much everything that we could think of.
Yes. Make sure you share this. So chances are, if you're watching this, someone else needs to hear this as well. So make sure you share it with a friend or whoever's building.
It's true because a lot of people might not necessarily, yes, they know the home builder's grant was there and all that, but they might not necessarily see
the repercussions,
the impact that it has on the building industry. And this is important to also know that, for example, if you know someone that's building with another really big builder, what we're saying will apply to them too.
That's it.
Yeah. And another important thing to also think about is a lot of people might drive through an estate and their house might, for example, be getting built here, and the house next door is getting a roof on and everything, and it's going much, much faster. It's really hard to assess this thinking that those two are the same. You can't just assess it like that. So again, just be understanding.
That's it.
Just communicate with your builder, and most of all, be nice about it.
That's
we are with our suppliers. We always super nice. We've never been nasty to a supplier, and we're always super nice. We understand they can't cope, and the main thing we ask from a supplier is, how can we help?
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's always about this, can we help you with this? Can we help you with that? How we are trying the best with the lead times and all this, but it's about, finding ways to help them because we understand where they're coming from, and we understand that their position, particularly if you are a roofer at the moment, your position will be very hard.
That's it. Yeah.
So
So just be chill.
Just be chill.
That's it.
It's easier said than done. I completely agree.
Yeah.
But again, if we look back at the past, we had the same issues with, for example, with trucks.
Yes.
Because the government was paying, or there was a tax deduction or whatever you couldn't get a truck for a month. The caravans are the same. Good luck getting a caravan right now. Good luck, because you won't get one.
Yeah.
If everybody remembers, I think it was back maybe in 2009 or a little bit earlier, water tanks.
Yes.
Water tanks factories were going 24/7, and you couldn't get a water tank for 6 months.
Yeah.
A water tank.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
That's it.
So, it's one of those things, I guess, it happens. In the building industry, it's been a while since it happened, but it's that time. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because it is a good thing.
It's a good thing. I definitely think we'll be better off in the long run for it.
Yeah, well, it's a great thing because it just the amount of work that this is going to create is phenomenal. And the amount of people that are going to be better off.
The jobs it's
How many
created.
young people are we building a house for and they're getting 40K ahead? Like, how good is this?
Yeah.
It doesn't get any so better than that. So even if you have to be a little bit patient, but wow, 40K, you're getting a new house.
Yeah.
It's dreamland.
I think it definitely worked. It definitely boosted the economy and did what it was supposed to.
For sure. And I think now it's probably, that's when we are really starting to see the effect on the economy.
Yeah.
But it will be massive.
I think for businesses, especially in the building industry, yes, it's been shit trying to get this all done. It's been absolutely stressful. But at the same time, your processes, you're more efficient. Everything's a lot more better. Everything's going to run a lot more smoother because you've handled the mass.
I completely agree. And
normal.
another point again that most people don't think about. During COVID, most builders and suppliers and tradies had to lay off staff.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about is we had COVID, you lay off staff, which we didn't because we're in a really good spot.
Did the opposite.
We're talking, that's exactly right. But we're talking most builders and most suppliers, they had to lay off staff. And pretty much then they get hit with the biggest year in probably like 20 years at least.
Yeah.
So it's been a complete switch.
Yeah.
And
punch after punch.
Yeah, that's it. So it's definitely been a challenge from a builder's point of view. It's been a challenge. And particularly like in a normal case, it's already hard to find stuff. So when you're really, really busy and everybody's looking for stuff, it's hard. I'm glad we got a great team, but it's still hard because there's so many things, and that's the key point. So many things are not within the builder's control. We can't change them, we can't impact them, and we just can't do anything about it. So we can only do the best we can.
Yeah, that's it. Well said. I think we're going to end that there. We're sorry if this is a little bit of a jumbled podcast. We just sort of wanted to get the information out there. And we will see you next week for our regular
And if I look a little bit weird turning my neck, because I'm thinking people are going to think that, is because I just injured my neck.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but he's like the guy in the Batman suit who can't turn his neck.
I'm just thinking once I rewatch this, I'm going to be like, looking a bit funny. So anyway,
he's like fully rotating his body. Like, what's going on?
Anyway.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.